The sun rose over Valoran's main settlement, casting a red glow across the buildings. 20 years of human work had turned this distant planet into a thriving colony. Governor Marcus Webb stood at his office window, watching miners head to the morning shift. Valoran's rich minerals had made Earth very happy. "Governor, we have a problem." Admiral James Stone walked in without knocking. His face looked worried. "What is it, James?" Webb turned from the window. "Our sensors picked up ships, big ones. Not ours." Stone's voice was calm, but his eyes showed fear. "They're sending a message. They call themselves the Galactic Council." Webb frowned. In 20 years of space exploration, humans had found no intelligent alien life. Until now. "Put them through to my office." The screen on Webb's wall flickered. A tall being appeared, with gray-blue skin and 4 eyes. "I am High Commander Drell of the Galactic Council," it said in perfect English. "You are trespassing on territory marked for Council expansion." Webb straightened his back. "Commander Drell, I am Governor Marcus Webb. We've been here for 20 years and found no signs of prior claims. We came in peace." "Your peace is not our concern," Drell replied. "The Council has claimed this sector for 1,000 years. Your presence is not welcome." "We didn't know," Webb said. "Perhaps we can discuss this. Earth would be happy to establish diplomatic relations with your Council." Stone stood silently behind Webb, his hand resting on his gun. "The Council does not negotiate with new species," Drell said coldly. "You have 14 Earth days to remove all humans from Valoran. After that, we will remove you ourselves." The screen went dark. Webb sank into his chair. 20,000 colonists. "We can't evacuate in 2 weeks." "We won't," Stone said firmly. "I've got 5 ships in orbit. Not much, but they're good ships with good crews." "Fighting isn't the answer," Webb argued. "We need to contact Earth. Get help." "Do both," Stone suggested. "Talk to them while I prepare our defenses. A message to Earth will take 3 days. Their ships would take weeks to get here. We're on our own for now." Webb nodded slowly. "Start quiet preparations. Move people to the emergency shelters. I'll keep talking to them." For the next 10 days, Webb sent message after message to the Council ships. Most went unanswered. When Drell did respond, his answers were short and cold. On the 12th day, Lieutenant Anna Reed rushed into Stone's office on the military base. "Sir, the Council ships are moving away," she reported, her red hair falling from its tight bun. Stone frowned. "That's not right. Webb's last message was yesterday, and Drell just repeated the deadline." "I know, sir." Reed handed him a tablet. "But I found something. Their ships are sending coded messages between themselves. I couldn't break the code, but the pattern suggests they're coordinating something. Not leaving." Stone grabbed his communicator. "Webb, it's a trick." "They're not." A massive boom shook the building. Stone ran to the window. Explosions erupted across the settlement. Council ships had appeared from nowhere, dropping bombs on the colony. "Get to your ship," Stone yelled at Reed. "All pilots, emergency launch." "This is not a drill." Reed ran for the hangar as the building shook again. Through the smoke, she saw Council ships landing, troops pouring out onto Valoran soil. At the government building, Webb lay under fallen concrete, blood pooling around him. His last thought before passing out was that he should have listened to Stone. In orbit, Stone's 5 ships rose to meet 15 Council warships. The Admiral knew the odds were bad, but he had no choice. Valoran was humanity's first colony, and he would not let it fall without a fight. He opened a channel to all human ships. "This is Admiral Stone. The Council has betrayed us. Our job now is to protect our people below. Fight smart. Fight hard. Earth will send help, but until then, we're all these colonists have." The first shots of the war flashed across space. Lieutenant Anna Reed's ship barely cleared the hangar before it exploded behind her. The blast pushed her small fighter forward, alarms blaring in her ears. She fought the controls, bringing the ship level as she soared into Valoran's dusty sky. Stone Alpha to all units, form up at point 7. Admiral Stone's voice crackled over the radio. We need to punch through their line. Reed looked up through her viewport. The space above Valoran was filled with bright flashes. Council ships, at least 15 of them, moved in perfect formation. Earth's 5 ships looked tiny in comparison. Reed reporting in, she said into her comm. Where do you need me, sir? Get to the asteroid belt. Stone replied. Set up the emergency comm array. We need to contact Earth. Tell them what happened here. Reed nodded, though no one could see her. Yes, sir. What about the colony? A pause. We'll do what we can. Below, the main settlement burned. Council dropships landed in open areas, releasing troops that moved through the streets with terrifying efficiency. They fired at anything that moved. Lisa Parker, head of Colonial Security, gathered her officers in the underground parking garage of the main building. Gunfire and screams echoed from above. They're killing everyone, said Officer Tom Bell, his uniform covered in dust. This isn't an invasion. It's extermination. Parker checked her weapon. We need to get civilians to the mine tunnels. Bell, take Team 1 and secure the east tunnel entrance. Jones, west entrance. Martin, gather any civilians you find and guide them in. Move quietly. Stay off the main streets. As her teams moved out, Parker looked at the small screen on her wrist. The colony's emergency system showed critical damage to most buildings. The hospital was gone. So was the school. In the government building, Governor Webb opened his eyes. Pain shot through his body. Concrete pinned his legs. Blood pooled around him. Through broken windows, he heard alien voices. Search every room, ordered a harsh voice. Find their leaders. Webb reached for his emergency transmitter. His fingers closed around it just as the door to his office crashed open. 3 council soldiers entered, weapons raised. Human leader found. One reported into a device, injured but alive. The tallest soldier stepped forward, looking down at Webb with 4 cold eyes. Governor Webb, High Commander Drell wishes to speak with you. In orbit, Admiral Stone's flagship, the Defender, took a direct hit to its engines. The ship spun, emergency thrusters firing to stabilize it. Damage report. Stone shouted over the alarms. His second-in-command, Captain Jack Ford, checked the systems. Engines at 30%. Weapons still online. 3 Council cruisers approaching fast. Stone looked at the tactical display. 2 of his ships were already gone. One was heavily damaged and retreating to Valoran's moon. Only the Defender and the Swift remained fully combat-capable. New plan, Stone said. Ford, take the Defender into the asteroid field. Make them follow you. Swift will circle around and hit them from behind. A trap. Ford nodded. But, sir, our engines are damaged. We might not make it back out. Stone's face hardened. Then we take as many of them with us as we can. On the planet's surface, Council troops brought Governor Webb to the main square. They forced him to his knees before a large hologram of High Commander Drell. Admiral Stone watched from the bridge of the Defender as 2 Council ships exploded. His trap in the asteroid field had worked. The Swift had attacked from behind, while the Council ships chased the Defender through the dangerous rocks. That's 2 down, Captain Ford reported. But 3 more are coming. Our shields are at 40%. Stone nodded grimly. Keep moving deeper. Use the large asteroids for cover. The Defender shook as another hit landed. Warning lights flashed across control panels. Sir, the communications officer called. Lieutenant Reed reports the emergency message is away. She's returning to assist. Tell her to stay hidden. Stone ordered. We need at least 1 ship to survive until Earth responds. On Valoran's surface, Lisa Parker led a group of 20 civilians through the underground maintenance tunnels. The colony had built these tunnels to protect workers from the planet's occasional dust storms. Now they served a different purpose. Stay quiet. Parker whispered. "Council patrols are everywhere above us." A small boy started to cry. His mother quickly covered his mouth, eyes wide with fear. Parker checked her wrist computer. They were half a kilometer from the mine entrance where Officer Bell had set up a safe area. But to get there, they would need to cross an open area. She reached the access hatch and carefully looked out. The colony square was filled with council troops. They had set up a command post in front of the damaged government building. Governor Webb sat on the ground, bloody but alive, surrounded by guards. Parker ducked back down. "We can't go this way. We'll have to use the eastern route. It's longer, but safer." One of the civilians, an older man who worked in the research center, spoke up. "They're after the gravitium. That's why they attacked us." "Gravitium?" Parker asked. "The mineral our scientists have been studying." The man nodded. "Dr. Wilson discovered it can generate massive energy. It's why Earth funded this colony. The Council must have learned about it." Parker's radio crackled. "Chief, this is Bell. Council troops are heading toward the mine entrance. We need backup." "On my way," Parker replied. She turned to the group. "Follow the tunnel straight ahead. You'll reach a fork. Take the right path. It leads to the secondary mine entrance. Officer Martin is there." One of the women grabbed Parker's arm. "You can't leave us." Parker handed her a small pistol. "I have to help my people. Keep them safe." She climbed the ladder to a different hatch, emerging behind a damaged building. In the distance, she could see council troops moving toward the mine entrance. Drawing her weapon, Parker moved through the shadows to intercept them. In orbit, the space battle continued. The Defender had destroyed another council ship, but had taken heavy damage. The Swift was engaged with 2 enemy vessels, using quick maneuvers to avoid their superior firepower. Lieutenant Reed's fighter rejoined the battle, providing support to the Swift. "Admiral," Reed called over the comm, "I've analyzed their attack patterns. They're protecting their command ship at all costs. It must have something important on board." Stone studied the tactical display. The Council command ship hung back, surrounded by 4 escort vessels. "What are you thinking, Lieutenant?" Stone asked. "A direct strike, sir. Their shields have a weakness at the engine exhaust ports. If we hit them there, we might disable them." Stone considered the plan. It was risky, but they were running out of options. "Ford, what do you think?" Stone asked his second in command. Ford looked at the damage reports. "The Defender can't do it, sir. We've lost too much engine power, but Reed's fighter might make it." "Too dangerous," Stone argued. "One fighter against their flagship." "It's our best shot, sir," Reed said. "I can do it." Stone closed his eyes briefly. "All right. Swift will create a diversion. Defender will provide covering fire. Reed, you have one shot at this." Reed's fighter broke away, circling wide to approach the Council flagship from behind. At the research facility, Dr. Tom Wilson worked frantically to destroy his gravitium research. Council troops were breaking through the sealed doors. "Delete everything," he told his assistant. "They can't get this technology." The assistant, young and scared, typed commands into the computer. "What about the samples?" Lieutenant Reed's fighter darted toward the Council flagship, weaving through defensive fire. Her hands gripped the controls tightly, knuckles white with tension. "Almost in range," she reported. "Their point defenses are tracking me." In the Defender, Admiral Stone watched Reed's approach on his tactical display. "Swift, draw their fire. Give Reed an opening." The Swift accelerated, unleashing a barrage at the Council escort ships. 2 broke formation to engage, just as Stone had hoped. Reed saw her chance. "Going in now." She pushed her fighter into a steep dive, aiming for the exhaust ports. Alarms blared as enemy weapons locked onto her ship. She fired her main weapons just before pulling up. Direct hit. The flagship's engines flickered. "Target damage," Reed called. "But their shields are still up." Stone's tactical officer shouted. Energy spike from the flagship. They're charging weapons. Evasive maneuvers. Stone ordered. All ships break off. The Council flagship fired a massive energy beam. It missed the defender but sliced through the Swift's port side. The Swift spun out of control, secondary explosions tearing through its hull. Swift is hit badly, Ford reported. Life support failing. Stone's face hardened. Signal Swift to abandon ship. Reed, cover their escape pods. On the planet below, Communications Officer Mike Taylor worked alone in a hidden facility beneath the colony's power plant. The Council hadn't found this backup communications center yet. Taylor had been trying for days to break through the jamming signal the Council had placed around Valoran. "Come on," he muttered, adjusting another setting. His equipment sparked. The readout changed. "That's it." Taylor's fingers flew across the controls. "I found a gap in their jamming. Now I just need to." He connected the transmitter to Reed's emergency message, which had been automatically copied to all colonial systems. The file size was large, detailed scans of Council ships and weapons. Compressing data, Taylor said to himself. Boosting signal strength. The power levels rose dangerously high. The equipment wasn't designed for this kind of transmission, but it was their only chance. Taylor pressed the final button. Message away. The console exploded, throwing him back against the wall. As darkness took him, Taylor smiled. The message was on its way to Earth. 3 days later, on Earth, Fleet Admiral William Grant was in a meeting when his aide rushed in. "Sir, emergency transmission from Valoran colony." Grant frowned. "Put it through." The main screen showed static, then cleared to show Lieutenant Reed's face. The image was poor, breaking up frequently. "This is Lieutenant Anna Reed of Valoran colony. We are under attack by hostile forces calling themselves the Galactic Council. They launched without warning. Civilian casualties are high. We need immediate military assistance." The room fell silent as the message played. Data streamed alongside the video. Technical information about Council ships and weapons. When it ended, Grant stood up. "How old is this message?" 3 days, sir. It was sent using emergency protocols." Grant's face was grim. "Contact the President. Mobilize the fleet. I want the EFS Vengeance Battle Group ready for immediate deployment." One of the officers spoke up. "Sir, the Vengeance hasn't completed its final testing." "It has now," Grant said firmly. "We're at war." In the President's office, Grant explained the situation. The attack on Valoran isn't just about one colony. If these Council aliens control Gravidium, they could threaten all human worlds. The President nodded. "You have authorization. Take whatever forces you need." "The Vengeance Battle Group is our best option," Grant replied. "It's the only fleet with Gravitium-enhanced weapons. Those weapons haven't been fully tested," the President warned. "Valoran doesn't have time for tests," Grant said. "The colony might already be lost. But if there are survivors, we need to save them. And we need to show this Council that humanity cannot be attacked without consequences." The President sighed. "Very well. When can the fleet leave?" "Within 6 hours. The journey will take 18 days at maximum speed." 3 weeks after the initial attack, the EFS Vengeance and its battle group of 6 destroyers dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Valoran system. The Vengeance was massive, nearly twice the size of the largest Council vessel. Its black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it, making it look like a hole in space. On the bridge, Commander Laura Hill stood with her hands clasped behind her back. She had been given command of humanity's most advanced warship just days before the emergency deployment. "Scan the system," Hill ordered. "Find our people." The sensor officer worked quickly. Multiple Council ships in orbit around Valoran. "I count 11 vessels. Energy signatures indicate they're on high alert." "Any sign of our ships?" Hill asked. "One Earth vessel detected. Hiding in the planet's rings. Heavy damage. Life signs present." Hill nodded. "The Defender. Admiral Stone is alive." Council ships are changing formation, the tactical officer reported. They've detected us. Open a channel, Hill said. All frequencies. The communications officer nodded. Channel open. Hill's voice was calm but carried authority. Attention Council forces. This is Commander Laura Hill of the Earth Fleet ship Vengeance. You have attacked an Earth colony without provocation. You have murdered our civilians. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. The main screen flickered, showing High Commander Drell's face. Human vessels, he said dismissively. Your primitive ships are no match for Council technology. This system now belongs to the Galactic Council. Leave now and we may allow your colony ship to depart with you. Hill's expression didn't change. You misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. You have 1 hour to leave this system. She signaled to cut the transmission. Her second in command, Captain Ryan Brooks, stepped closer. They outnumber us, Commander. Not for long, Hill replied. Deploy the fleet. Defensive formation. Prepare gravidium weapons. On Valoran's surface, Lisa Parker and her resistance fighters watched the sky. Strange lights had appeared, moving in formation. What is it? Asked Bell. Parker used her binoculars. Ships, not Council design. Her heart raced. They're ours. Earth came. In the tunnels, the news spread quickly. People who had been hiding for weeks in fear now cried with relief. Parker grabbed her radio. We need to contact them. Tell them we're still here. In the Council Command Center, Drell received reports from his officers. High Commander, the human vessels appear to be preparing for battle. Should we strike first? Drell studied the tactical display. Their ships are smaller than ours, except for the lead vessel. We have superior numbers and firepower. Yes, attack formation. Destroy the large ship first. In the damaged Defender, hiding in Valoran's rings, Admiral Stone saw the new arrivals on his sensors. Earth ships, he said, his voice rough with emotion. And that big one, it must be the Vengeance. They finished it. Lieutenant Reed, who had joined Stone on the Defender after her fighter was too damaged to continue fighting, smiled for the first time in weeks. The gravidium weapons, they brought them. Stone opened a channel. EF says Vengeance. This is Admiral Stone on the Defender. Good to see you. Hill's voice came through clearly. Admiral Stone, we received your distress call. What's your status? One ship operational. Barely. Colony under Council control. But we have resistance fighters on the ground. About 5,000 survivors in the mines. Understood, Hill replied. Stay hidden, Admiral. We'll handle the Council. Stone wanted to protest, but he knew the Defender couldn't take another hit. Good hunting, Commander. In orbit, the Council ships formed an attack pattern, weapons charging. Energy spike from Council vessels. The tactical officer on the Vengeance reported. They're preparing to fire. Hill nodded. They've made their choice. Activate gravidium kinetic cannons. Target their lead vessels. Gravidium cannons online. The weapons officer confirmed. Targets locked. Fire, Hill ordered. The Vengeance shuddered slightly as its main weapons discharged. There was no visible beam or projectile, just a ripple in space as the gravidium-enhanced kinetic rounds broke the light barrier. 3 Council heavy cruisers exploded simultaneously, their shields offering no resistance to weapons they had never encountered before. On the Council command ship, alarms blared. Officers shouted in confusion. 3 cruisers destroyed, one reported. No survivors. Drell stared in shock. Impossible. Their weapons. How did they penetrate our shields? The human ships are advancing. Another officer called out. They're launching fighters. In space, Earth's destroyers move forward, smaller craft pouring from their launch base. The fighter squadrons, led by Captain Alex Black, formed up quickly. The space battle turned into a slaughter. Council ships that had seemed so powerful against Stone's small fleet were helpless against the Vengeance and its battle group. 2 more Council cruisers exploded as the gravidium weapons tore through their shields. Commander, The communications officer called out, "We're receiving a transmission from the Council flagship." Hill nodded. "Put it through." High Commander Drell appeared on screen. His usually composed face showed fear now. "Commander Hill, we request an immediate ceasefire. We are prepared to withdraw from the Valoran system and discuss reparations." Hill's expression remained cold. "You gave no quarter to our civilians. Expect none in return." She cut the transmission. "Continue the attack. No survivors." Captain Brooks looked at her with surprise. "Commander, they murdered thousands of our people," Hill said quietly. "This isn't just about winning a battle. It's about sending a message to the entire Council. Attack Earth, and you don't get to go home." In space, Earth fighters pursued Council escape pods and shuttles. Captain Black led his squadron in methodical destruction of any craft attempting to flee. "Red 3, you've got 2 escape pods at your 10 o'clock. Black called over the comm. "I see them," Red 3 replied. "Engaging now." The escape pods, small and defenseless, exploded into fragments. On the planet's surface, Colonel Green's Marines landed near the colony's main settlement. They faced immediate resistance from Council ground forces, but the outcome was never in doubt. The Earth Marines wore gravitium-enhanced armor that repelled Council weapons. Their own rifles fired rounds that could penetrate Council battle suits with ease. "Push forward," Green ordered as his troops advanced through the streets. "Secure the government building." Council soldiers fled before them, dropping weapons and calling for mercy. The Marines ignored their pleas. Lisa Parker led her resistance fighters out of hiding to join the attack. She met Colonel Green near what remained of the colony's central plaza. "Chief Parker?" Green asked, recognizing her from the briefing. Parker nodded, her face dirty and tired but determined. "We have people still trapped in the mines. The Council knows where they are. They were planning a final assault today." "Not anymore," Green said grimly. "We'll secure the area." "Where's their command center?" Parker pointed to the colony's former administration building. "There. That's where they took Governor Webb before he died. High Commander Drell might still be there." Green divided his forces. "Alpha Team with me. We're taking the command center. Beta and Gamma. Sweep the settlement. Find any survivors and secure them." As the Marines moved out, Parker's radio crackled. "Chief, Council troops are retreating from the mine entrance. They're running away." Parker smiled for the first time in weeks. "Good. Keep our people inside until I give the all-clear." At the research facility, Dr. Wilson lay strapped to a table. The neural extractor had been partially assembled when alarms started blaring. The Council technicians had abandoned their work, fleeing as explosions rocked the building. Wilson struggled against his restraints, but was too weak from torture to break free. He heard gunfire growing closer, then silence. The door to the lab crashed open. Marines in Earth uniforms entered, weapons raised. "We got a survivor," one called out. "It's Dr. Wilson." They quickly freed him from the table. Wilson could barely stand, his body battered from weeks of interrogation. "The gravitium research," he croaked. "Did they get it?" "No, sir," the Marine sergeant replied. "Earth developed the weapons from your early findings. That's what's winning this battle right now." Wilson smiled weakly. "Good. That's good." In orbit, the space battle was ending. The Council flagship tried to jump to hyperspace, but a gravitium round from the Vengeance disabled its drive. The massive ship drifted helplessly as Earth destroyers surrounded it. "Flagship disabled," the tactical officer reported. "All other Council vessels have been destroyed or disabled." Hill nodded. "Prepare boarding parties. I want their navigational data and any information about Council space. We're taking this fight to them next." In the colony's command center, Green's Marines secured the facility. Bodies of Council officers lay everywhere, victims of their own troops' panicked retreat. But Drell was not among them. "Where's the High Commander?" Green demanded of a captured Council officer. The alien trembled. Escape shuttle. Left minutes ago. Green cursed and reached for his comm. This is green to all units. High Commander Drell escaped in a shuttle. Find him. Parker's voice came over the radio. Colonel, my people spotted a council shuttle heading for the Western Hills. It crashed near the old mining outpost. 1 month after the liberation of Valoran, the colony was slowly rebuilding. Construction drones and workers moved through the streets, clearing rubble and raising new buildings. Earth had sent massive supply ships with everything needed to restore the settlement. Admiral Stone stood on the newly constructed observation deck of the orbital station. Through the large windows, he could see the Vengeance and 3 destroyers still in orbit, protecting the colony. 6 more Earth warships had arrived the week before, bringing more troops and supplies. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission, his aide reported. It's not from Earth or any known human colony. Stone frowned. Source: unknown system, sir, but it's using frequencies similar to Council technology. Stone tensed. Put it through. Alert the Vengeance. The screen activated, but instead of High Commander Drell or another Council officer, 3 different alien species appeared. None resembled the Council race. Greetings, humans of Earth, the central figure spoke. Its body was tall and slender with skin that shifted colors like oil on water. I am Ambassador Trell of the Nerubian people. With me are representatives of the Voss and Lyrian civilizations. Stone studied them carefully. This is Admiral James Stone. Why have you contacted us? We witnessed your victory over the Council forces, Trell replied. For centuries, our people have been subjugated by the Council. They take our resources, control our trade, and punish any resistance. We have never seen anyone defeat them as completely as you did. The reptilian alien to Trell's right spoke next. I am Care of the Voss. Your battle footage was transmitted across all communication channels. The Council couldn't block it. Everyone saw what happened at Valoran. Stone nodded slowly. And now, the third alien, a small being with 6 arms and luminous eyes, leaned forward. We wish to meet, to discuss an alliance against our common enemy. I am Silpha of the Lyrians. We have technologies that complement your gravidium weapons. Together, we could break the Council's grip on this sector of the galaxy. In the colony's main conference room, Fleet Admiral Grant had arrived from Earth to host the summit. Representatives from the 3 alien civilizations sat across from the human delegation. The Free Species Alliance, Grant proposed, displaying a hologram of connected worlds, equal membership for all founding races, mutual defense, technology sharing, open trade. The aliens looked at each other, then nodded in agreement. The Council has dominated this sector for 2,000 years, Trell said. They call themselves peacekeepers, but they are conquerors. Your arrival changes everything. Outside the conference room, Lisa Parker walked with Dr. Wilson. The doctor still moved slowly, his body bearing the scars of Council torture. But his mind remained sharp. They want you to be the new governor, Wilson said. Admiral Grant told me this morning. Parker looked surprised. Me? I'm just the security chief. You led the resistance. You kept 5,000 people alive against impossible odds. The colonists trust you. Parker stopped walking, looking out at the half-rebuilt colony. What about you? Will you restart the gravidium research? Wilson smiled. Already have. But what I didn't tell the Council, what they couldn't extract from my mind, is that gravidium can do far more than power weapons. It can revolutionize energy production, space travel, even medicine. So we didn't just win a battle, Parker said. We gained the key to becoming the dominant power in this part of space. Wilson nodded. Exactly. In the high orbit above Valoran, construction ships from Earth had begun building a massive defense platform. Engineers and workers moved around the skeletal structure, adding sections of armor plating and weapon mounts. It will be the largest human military base outside the Sol system, Commander Hill explained to Admiral Stone. as they watched from the Vengeance, headquarters for the Free Species Alliance and home to the new Gravidium Research Institute. Stone nodded approvingly. The Council won't dare attack again. They might not have a choice, Hill replied. Our intelligence teams extracted the Council's navigational data from their flagship. We know the locations of 12 Council core worlds, including their capital. Stone raised an eyebrow. Earth is considering an offensive. More than considering. The Vengeance battle group is just the first wave. Earth is building 20 more Gravitium-equipped warships. They'll be ready in 6 months. A junior officer approached them. Commander, Admiral, Council diplomatic vessels have entered the outer system. They're requesting permission to approach. Hill looked at Stone. What do you think they want? Peace, Stone said grimly. On their terms, of course. And what will we give them?